Reuters reports that Ferrari's first electric car to cost over $500,000. Tata Motors to revive Jaguar Land Rover's Freelander as a made-in-China EV. Reuters reports that Ferrari's first electric car to cost over $500,000. Tata Motors to revive Jaguar Land Rover's Freelander as a made-in-China EV. Tesla must face owner's lawsuit claiming it monopolizes vehicle repairs and parts. Ecuador stops waiving visas for Chinese nationals because of an increase in irregular migration. In Ireland, Ryanair working with Department of Justice to photograph passenger documents. Switzerland to represent Mexico's interests in Ecuador after severance of relations. Biden enlists Bill and Hillary Clinton to counter Trump's fundraising, and Biden again calls Trump a convicted felon at a fundraiser, pushing his 5 days total to around $40. Secret Service agent robbed at gunpoint during Biden's Los Angeles trip, police say. Lawyers, judges, technology. Roger Stone touts plan for Trump win in secret recording. Kim greets Putin with a hug for first North Korea trip in 24 years, as 3 Russian Ilyushin Il-96 fly President Vladimir Putin on first visit to North Korea in 24 years. Russia sends about 40 warships to Pacific Ocean ahead of Putin's visit to North Korea. Putin says Russia and North Korea will help each other if attacked, taking ties to a new level, and North Korea's Kim sees relations with Russia entering golden age. China to see biggest millionaire exodus in 2024 as many head to U.S. Hong Kong visitors to EU will need travel authorization from next year. Anti-Asian rhetoric during COVID-19 pandemic negatively impacted employment and earnings, new Northeastern research finds. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck to star in crime thriller R.I.P. from Artists Equity and Joe Carnahan. Netflix uses Squid Game playbook for untapped Southeast Asia, as Netflix showcases Southeast Asian slate of films and series including new titles from Joko Anwar, Kimo Stambul and Carlo Ledesma. 1 in 20 Donald Trump voters are switching to Joe Biden this election as per a poll. Tory donor who gave Boris Johnson £500,000 urges public to vote Labour. In Italy, differentiated autonomy is law, with approval from the chamber at dawn. The opposition protests. They are splitting Italy. And they launched the referendum. Trump's all-tariff proposal would increase middle-class taxes by up to $8,500 a year, claimed in an analysis. China may overhaul consumer taxes as plenum looms, Goldman says. UK inflation falls back to official 2% target, as food prices rise at slowest rate since 2021. New York's top court declines to hear Trump's appeal of the gag order in his hush money case. Vietnam ministry weighs cash bounties to catch corrupt officials. In Canada, McGill withdraws amnesty offer, toughens tone with pro-Palestinian protesters. Senate GOP blocks Democratic effort to ban bump stocks after Supreme Court ruling. Research finds pattern of YouTube recommending right-leaning Christian videos. Anti-woke water becomes a hit for conservatives who brag about the unapologetic drink. UK children shorter, fatter and sicker amid poor diet and poverty, report finds. Reportedly, the sugar content drops and so does obesity. Assault on U.S. avocado inspectors in Mexican state led to suspension of inspections. In the UK, Labour suspends candidate after he reportedly shared pro-Russia posts. Macron defends surprise snap election call as most responsible solution, and Macron says a silent majority in France oppose the extremes. Brazil's Lula would seek re-election at 80 to block a fascist. Kansas accuses Pfizer of misleading public about COVID vaccine in lawsuit. License of Saskatchewan doctor who prescribed ivermectin for COVID-19 to be suspended. Brazil has an average of 30 deaths from COVID daily in 2024. Ed Sheeran beats Taylor Swift as UK's most played artist for 7th time. British actor Ian McKellen recovering after falling off London's stage. Willie Mays, baseball's do-it-all say hey kid, dies at 93. Ford admits it lost billions on sedans, but may return with an EV. Jeep confirms new Compass, updated Grand Cherokee and Wagoneer. Secret Cadillac coupe finally revealed after 6 long years. M4 MacBook Pro models expected to launch in late 2024. watchOS 11 brings automatic nap detection to Apple Watch. Ferrari is removing built-in nav because who even uses that? US sues Photoshop maker Adobe for hiding fees, making it difficult to cancel. Los Angeles School District bans use of cell phones, social media by students. For CSA regulation, EU Council about to vote on voluntary chat control as a new legislation to fight child sexual abuse online. Increased spending pushes 2024 U.S. budget deficit estimate to $1.9 trillion. Study finds U.S. does not have housing shortage, but shortage of affordable housing. U.S. retail sales barely increase in sign of consumer strain. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway dumps BYD shares following rise in trade tension over Chinese EVs. EV startup Fisker files for bankruptcy, aims to sell assets. Detroit 3 automakers should exit China, leading analyst says. Alberta's last coal plant has powered down, marking the end of an era. Electricity prices in France turn negative as renewable energy floods the grid. Heads of state of China, Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan extend congratulations on the signing of the trilateral intergovernmental agreement on the China-Kyrgyzstan-Uzbekistan railway project via video link. Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra runs Fallout 4 and many other PC games with more than playable frame rates. Apple suspends work on next Vision Pro, focused on releasing cheaper model in late 2025. Meta releases Threads API for developers to build unique integrations. China's next-generation sex bots, powered by AI, are about to hit the shelves. UK man sues Apple after wife discovers deleted messages with sex worker. Deepfake video of Nigel Farage playing Minecraft, of course not real, party says. DJI drone ban passes in U.S. House. Countering CCP Drones Act would ban all DJI sales in U.S. if passed in Senate. U.S. pushing Netherlands, Japan to restrict more chip-making equipment to China, source says. U.S. Steel CEO is extremely confident Nippon deal will close in 2024. NVIDIA pushes out Apple, Microsoft to become world's most valuable company. McDonald's is removing its AI drive-through voice ordering system from over 100 restaurants after its mishaps went viral. UNESCO sounds alarm over artificial intelligence fueled Holocaust denial. Satellites like Starlink could deplete Earth's ozone layer, study says. Russia to expand satellite network to improve internet coverage in remote areas, announced Putin. In Australia, planes left to land, take off on their own amid staffing crisis. Thailand to become first Southeast Asian country to legalize same-sex marriage. In Spain, the Constitutional Court endorses that girls aged 16 and 17 can have an abortion without parental consent. In the U.S., Justice Department finds state of Missouri unnecessarily institutionalizes adults with mental health disabilities in skilled nursing facilities, in violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act, and improperly relies on guardianship. Record-breaking U.S. heat wave scorches the Midwest and Northeast, bringing safety measures. At least 550 pilgrims died due to intense heat during Hajj, diplomats say. Jains in Old Delhi dressed up as Muslims to buy 124 goats. Saved them from Bakrit's sacrifice. Astronauts return delayed again as Boeing and NASA try to learn more about spacecraft issues. Boeing CEO admits company has retaliated against whistleblowers during Senate hearing, says I know it happens, and Boeing had faulty parts that may have been installed on new 737 planes, whistleblower alleges. SEC closes investigation into Ethereum 2.0. No securities charges against ETH, says Consensus. Hedge funds front-running Ethereum ETF approvals, according to VanEck analyst. North Dakota latest U.S. state to revoke Binance U.S. license, as Binance U.S. lost money transmitter license in 7 U.S. states. X, Twitter, rival Lens Protocol seeks $50 million in new funding. El Salvador builds Bitcoin bank to bolster foreign investment. Bitwise revises Ether ETF filing with potential $100 million Pantera investment. Nigel Farage blames admin error for candidates praising Hitler. Hungary chooses Make Europe Great Again slogan for its EU presidency. Record 23 countries hit 2% defense spending target, NATO says. Military spending on personnel in Brazil is proportionally more than triple that of the USA. Paris court overturns France's arms show ban on Israeli firms. Resident Alien moves to USA Network with Season 4 renewal. Game of Thrones spin-off, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms begins filming as The Crown. True Detective actors join cast. Sony confirms a sequel to Tom Holland-led Uncharted movie is in the works. Australia quietly expelled 4 Indian spies who targeted politicians and defense tech, claimed in a report. I was political football, says UK woman branded a Chinese spy. Biden can't ignore India murder plot in U.S., top Democrat says. Recently in Pannan murder plot, U.S. Democratic senators urge Biden to take strong diplomatic action against India. Hinduja family, UK's richest, facing charges for human trafficking, paying domestic staff less than spending on dog in Switzerland. Mysterious metal monolith shows up in Las Vegas after reappearing in Wales. North Korea troop casualties reported after landmine explosions in DMZ. White House cancels meeting, scolds Netanyahu in protest over video, as Biden administration strongly denies Netanyahu's claim U.S. is blocking arms shipments. Netanyahu blasts Biden admin for withholding weapons from Israel in harshest criticism yet. Inconceivable. And Netanyahu tells U.S. to give us the tools and we'll finish the job. U.S. renews warning it's obligated to defend the Philippines after its clash with China, as Philippine officials say Chinese forces seized 2 Navy boats in disputed shoal, injuring sailors. Malaysia wants to join BRICS. China she an outstanding leader, says Anwar. NATO chief says West should impose a cost on China for its support of Russia. Russian army develops motorcycle assault units to carry out lightning attacks on the front lines. Ukraine will get former French Mirage 2005 fighters. Ukraine will never join NATO, says Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Ryabkov, and Hungary expects talks on Ukraine's admission to EU to begin in June, says Minister. India refuses to endorse Ukraine meet statement. Kiev better accept Russia's peace proposal or face worse outcomes, says Medvedev. Hanoi residents praise idol Putin, Russia's world leader, as he visits Vietnam. Vital is set among bidders for Venezuela-owned Citgo's parent, and Citgo parent's share auction should be halted, Venezuelan minister says. Terrafame has on June 18, 2024 started recovering natural uranium on its industrial site in Sakamo, Finland. Fitch predicts higher gold, copper prices this year. Erdogan, Pashinyan reiterate commitment toward normalizing bilateral relations. Armenia to buy France's Caesar howitzers supplied to Kiev. System of a Down singer says he doesn't respect Imagine Dragons as human beings after Azerbaijan gig. Israel warns of prospect of all-out war after Hezbollah publishes video of military, civilian sites, and Israel approves operational plan for Lebanon offensive, says Army. Islamists used Ukraine as transit on way to EU, claims German authorities. Cargo ship MV Tudor sinks in Red Sea days after Houthi drone boat attack. Dutchman Rutte to be NATO's new Secretary-General, Dutch news outlet NOS reports citing sources, as Dutch leader Mark Rutte clears a big hurdle to becoming NATO chief after Hungary lifts objections. Von der Leyen Costa, Kallas likely to get top EU posts, Polish PM says. Chinese MFA slams NATO as Cold War relic amid warnings on Russia aid. Kalashnikov unveils equipment developed for Legionnaire combat suit. Russian submarines damaged hull during Cuba visit raises questions. Koch and dozens of others pledged to quit Russia. They're still there. Nearly 1 Gaza Palestinians forcibly displaced since May. Announced by UN and UN rights chief warned situation in West Bank, dramatically deteriorating. First Palestinian athlete to compete in Olympics dies in refugee camp. Mail server flaws expose servers to remote code execution. Cybercriminals exploit free software lures to deploy hijack loader and VDAR stealer. New malware targets expose Docker APIs for cryptocurrency mining. 2 men extradited from Malaysia to be charged over links to Android malware scams targeting Singaporeans. Security bug allows anyone to spoof Microsoft employee emails. Nintendo's next Zelda game lets you play as Zelda. China says U.S. tip led to suspect in prime example of cooperation amid fentanyl crisis. 2 months ago, House panel says China subsidizes fentanyl production to fuel crisis in the U.S. In the U.S., MS 13 members and associates sentenced for racketeering and narcotics conspiracies and 4 murders. USA federal indictment alleges alliance between Sinaloa cartel and money launderers, linked to Chinese underground banking. IMF unveils plan for China-based regional center in Shanghai, moving closer to Asia-Pacific. IMF announced that central bank digital currencies can boost Middle East financial inclusion, payment efficiency. Brazilian real surpasses Argentine peso in Brazil, has the worst currency among emerging markets in 2024. Martin Shkreli says he is behind Trump-linked DJT as ZachXBT GCR start poking around. FTX victims view bankruptcy process as second act of theft, filed to recover $8 billion in forfeited assets. Scammers target Trump supporters and bad spellers after Republican announced he'd take crypto donations. Bitcoin hash rate may finally slow as miners face scorching summer heat waves. Mexico unicorn clip raises $100 million from Morgan Stanley. Ohio train derailment caused chemical pollution falling to Earth's surface across the U.S. and beyond, study reveals. New study finds at least 1 in 4 U.S. residential yards exceeds